Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia Seaman, and I'm recording live from my recording studio here at home. So I am on day 24 of my 30-day Ryan Tedder songwriting class, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a progress report on how I'm doing. So obviously, as I said, I'm more than halfway done with this class, and the goal of this entire class over 30 days is, like I said, to create 3 fully polished, completed songs. So I did create the first song, however, it was done on Cakewalk Studios, which meant that there were kind of a lot of timing issues and just a lot of editorial problems I'd have to fix later. So hopefully I'll be able to clean that up a little bit and then get it up on YouTube so you can see my first song. However, for now, I do have the second song completely produced and ready to show you guys. I created this one on a free trial of Ableton Live, so the timing issues worked out a little bit better. I had a lot more instruments to my disposal, so I think generally the second song turned out a lot better, which is what I wanted. And so I'm just going to show you guys the recording of my second song. It's completely done. Now there are a few little small things that maybe set it apart from a normal pop song you would hear, but it is my first fully produced song pretty much. So anyways, I'm going to show you my song, and after that I'm going to walk you through the general step-by-step of how I wrote my song, and then you can maybe try to do it yourself. So again, I'm using Ableton Live Suite. It's a free trial. It lasts till January, I believe. It's 80-day trial. So this is my song. It's titled The Rhythm. That I will Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will remind you it was my first like fully produced song, so there are some mistakes. However, I'm pretty happy with it and I think it's a good first try. So now I'm going to walk you through how I basically wrote that song step by step, just a real fast like kind of overview of how I did it. Obviously, I can't go into thorough detail, but I will try to kind of give you the gist of what was going on whenever I wrote the song. So here we go. Okay guys, so here's my song laid out in Ableton Live. So here's the vocals, here is the kind of like pre-chorus metal plucking thing you hear there, some bass, echo bay, which is that kind of like piano sound you hear in there, and then obviously real piano, and clapping effects, and then here is all my percussion up here. So first, I'm just going to kind of let you guys know about the lyrics. So I might cover lyrics in another video just in general, like how I come up with the ideas for them. In short, I do have a talent with poetry, so that oftentimes helps me with my lyrics. This song I've actually had around for about a year and a half and just never really produced it, so I decided to use it for this class. And it's actually about my drumline. Now, it wasn't, like back when I wrote this, it was about I don't know. Actually, I think it was about my drumline when I wrote it too, which is kind of funny. But I added some new lyrics this year about like my drumline and marching band, which is where you get the idea for the rhythm. However, a lot of the other parts were just little bits and pieces that I just kind of came up with and sounded good with the song. So in general, this song is about the drumline that I'm part of. So, and it was also kind of a theme that like I'm a drummer and I always kind of identify as a drummer. So that was like kind of those lyrics where it said like rhythm was my father and my mother was a melody. It was just kind of saying like how like kind of like a play on words describing how like I love rhythm, but pairing it with a melody just kind of like really just gives you a song. So it's kind of like an interesting concept to think about. So that's the lyrics. And obviously, like, I started with this drum beat. Now, when Ryan Tedder was teaching us in our course, he was talking about, like, this song was supposed to be the most produced out of our other songs so far. So, like, the first song was supposed to be, like, bare bones, like, bare minimum instruments and things, just kind of figuring it out. Well, this song is more like a pop song. It's, like, more heavily produced. So he started out with, like, kind of electronic drum beat sort of thing. And I kind of wanted to try that out. And so I came up obviously with this beat. So it's pretty simple, honestly, like anybody could come up with something like that. But I used a kit that was included in my free trial of Ableton Live. It's called the Beastly Kit, and it sounds pretty cool. So I started with that, and then I knew I wanted like some sort of like synth sound, something heavy to start in, so it almost sounded like dubstep maybe. Just something like really thick and heavy, just kind of get the groove going. I switched around a lot between different synths and things, and I just really wasn't happy with them. So then I found the Bastille Basher, which is just this really like forceful, noisy synth that just really gets it down to business. So I use that in the first few measures to just kind of get this like almost dubstep kind of feeling. Now, you can't really keep, I mean, you could keep these few measures just like this and then layer vocals over top. However, one thing that Ryan Tedder really stresses is to keep the listener interested. So keep adding things. He says every 4 bars, every 4 measures, add something new that will really intrigue the reader, not the reader, I'm sorry, the listener, intrigue the listener into wanting to hear more of your song. So obviously I introduced the Beastly Kit here. That was about a measure or so. And then I introduced the synth, and then I introduced vocals, which was that kind of new thing. But before I did vocals, I kind of did this interesting vocal, or not vocal effect, but like kind of like piano effect. And it says toy piano bells, but it's actually the echo bay effect that I used to just kind of keep the listener interested and keep them hooked on what's going on in the song. So you always want to keep adding more or take away, because at some point, obviously, you have too much going on in the song. And so you start taking away things to just kind of keep it new for the reader. So not the reader, I'm sorry guys, I'm so used to like doing blogs and writing things. Okay, the listener. Now, let's see if I can find it here. I believe it was around here. This is the part which is the pre-chorus, and that's where I really just strip down the song and take everything away instead of adding more things. So that just kind of keeps the listener interested. All right, so I added, let's see, my echo bay stuff, and then I added some vocals, And then after that, like in the vocals here, I just felt it was getting a little too empty, like kind of boring, so I added more echo bay stuff. And then obviously it came time for the pre-chorus. I pretty much left that one as it was. Like I didn't add a whole lot throughout the pre-chorus. Just some bass, some metal pluck kind of action going on, and some echo bay plus vocals, which seems like a lot, but it really isn't when in the grand scheme of things. So then I started back in with my Beastly kit, obviously, and really, like, as soon as I started writing this song, producing this song, I knew that I wanted like this kind of like pre-chorus, just like I don't know. It's like it's really common in pop songs to like kind of do this, I think. Like just do this pre-chorus where you just take away a lot of the instruments and just have like solid bare bones, few instruments and vocals. So I knew I wanted to do that. So that part came easily. So then obviously the chorus was already written and I already had like the general gist of how I wanted the notes to go, but then I had this problem with like how to layer the chorus so it sounds like nice and thick and full, but not having too much. So originally I kept my Bastille Basher and had the thick kind of dubstep sound to the background of the chorus. However, I took a moment to listen to that and realized it just seemed like too much. So I copied and pasted those notes into here. That's why they still say Bastille Basher, when in reality this is a steeplechase arp, I believe it's called. And it is basically like kind of like a it's like kind of like a guitar sound, I would say. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna show you guys real fast. So I'm just kind of like copy, paste, and hold on. All right, so let's see. What does this do? I don't even know. Okay. There we go. Okay. So it's like almost like a guitar slash like synth sound. Like it's like a very interesting sound. Alright, so that's what I had there. Oh, I just realized that's the solo button. That's helpful. See, I learn things new every day. Okay, so that's the steeplechase arp, and that adds kind of like a rhythm to the song. Like I know this song's about rhythm. It's got enough rhythm, but it just adds an interesting layer. So then I had to pick the second layer, and I was going to do like a thick like synth sound. However, like on discovering more instruments and things, I decided to go with this kind of like almost like band feel, like these full like brass instruments sort of thing. Like that. Now, if you're wondering how I got that strange, like, you can see how, like, here, I'll show you. You can see the horns just kind of like pull out on the four beats, creating like that kind of like disco feel, you know? And I did that by my one knob pumper. This I actually just bought like the day that I was supposed to turn in this song. So I bought it and I quickly like applied it to the horn section because Ryan Tedder uses this pumper a lot in his songs and I thought it looked really interesting. So I decided to buy it. It was like 20 bucks. It was on discount. So what this one knob pumper is it's basically, it takes away the downbeats and upbeats. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 of a measure, it leaves silent, and then it lets the whatever instrument that you put it on, it lets that instrument have the and beats. So that's what kind of creates your interesting like disco feel. So I'll show you here. See, every time the blue ring shows up, that's when the instrument's playing. So it creates that disco feel because it clears out those 1, 2, 3, 4 beats and only lets the instrument play on the and beats. Now if you look, as you turn the lever down, it changes the way that it actually does that. So see, that's like really fierce. Like that's taking out completely the instrument. However, if we go right in the middle here, it kind of gets that nice like pulling in and out sound, but without going too far, so it just sounds like silence on the beats. So that's kind of how I achieve that like disco effect. And so that's like the general layers of the chorus. Obviously, I added some like harmonies and things. I am very new at harmonies, so it got interesting, but it sounds decent, I guess, so it works. And yeah, so I layered some harmonies on there. Let's see. And then I did like this. This was like totally spontaneous. So I was going through and singing this song, right? And I had it all written down and like ready to go, right? And I'm singing these lyrics. All of a sudden, I was just feeling like this like vocal like breakdown, like kind of like a beat breakdown, but like a vocal where you like completely let go, just sing like gibberish, basically. And actually, a really big thing that Ryan Tedder likes to do whenever he's singing is he will actually like he'll write the chords for a song and sing gibberish over it, and that's how he finds like lyric ideas. So I kind of took off that, and I just literally just like let loose, let myself sing whatever I wanted as long as it kind of like pertained to the song, like had something about like rhythm or whatever. So that's where you kind of get like this beat like drop down here. Hey, hey, oh, follow the rhythm until the end. That's what I sang. Hey, gave my life to the rhythm found me, gave my time to the rhythm, now it comes naturally. So that was just kind of like me like singing random crap into the microphone, and it actually worked out. So another point I'm going to make here is if you're doing home recording, and right now I'm using a $100 microphone that is not mine, it is actually my sister's, but it's a pretty decent microphone, $100. But I do notice when I use this microphone to record, my vocals just didn't quite sound right. Like they didn't sound radio ready, as Ryan Tedder puts it. So what I did was, thanks to Ryan Tedder's help, he introduced me to something called Cla Vocals, which is a vocal plugin. And if you don't know what a plugin is, it's basically something you can upload to your computer and use within your DAW or digital audio workstation, which is what Ableton is. And CLA Vocals, I don't even know what it does. Like, I really don't. But, like, as soon as you apply it to your vocals, they just sound like radio ready. It's crazy. So, I believe it does add, like, some reverb. There's some presets you can set it to. So, Ryan Tedder uses face-to-face dry because he says it makes it feel more personal to the song, like you're singing to somebody. So, I tried face-to-face dry. It works really well with this song. I added a little bit of reverb so it wasn't too dry, and that's basically how you get the vocals for my song. Now, I know I do have the option to change the way the vocals are throughout the song. Like, I didn't have to just keep it face-to-face dry whole time with just a little bit of reverb. But I chose to do that because it was a little simpler. So, if you listen a little bit. Hey, gave my life to the rhythm found me, gave my time to the rhythm, now it comes naturally. So you can kind of hear the way my voice, it's got a little bit of reverb, but it just sounds like pretty good. Like, obviously my voice is not the best thing on the world, but these CLA Vocals plugins just really help it to feel radio ready. I really don't know what it does. Like, I really don't. I wish I could tell you, but like, as soon as you apply those vocals, like, it's just incredible. Anyways, so just getting the CLA Vocals pack, I believe it's like $20, but I got the pack of CLA vocals and bass and drums, like this entire pack for like $70, but you can just get the vocals for much less than that. But I would definitely recommend getting CLA Vocals. It makes your voice sound radio ready, and it's definitely a good choice. Now, I'm only saying this because I learned this from Ryan Tedder, and Ryan Tedder suggested it, and it's amazing. Like, I feel like I'm so happy I'm taking this class now, because Ryan Tedder was talking about how, like, when he was like making music for the first time, like he didn't know about CLA Vocals. Like, it probably didn't even exist honestly back then, but I don't know. But anyways, like, it's just a really fast way to make your vocals sound more professional and really just kind of advance you on your songwriting journey. So there's that, CLA Vocals. Honestly, the rest of the song is like kind of self-explanatory. I finish up my verse there, did another pre-chorus sort of thing. I had another verse which I literally just created on the fly, but I'm like generally good at that sort of thing, like just kind of like throwing it together because I'm good at rhyming, like generally. So it just kind of came to me, but I do kind of regret this it seemed like sloppy rhyming whenever I said think of all the troubles and the trials we've been through. This is our group. That this is our group like just sounded like cheesy. But at that point, I was kind of pushing deadlines, and I decided, hey, just roll with it. And I couldn't think of anything else. So that was like that wasn't pre-written. Like, when I wrote this song a year and a half ago, I didn't write in that verse. That was just kind of something on the fly I was doing, and it worked out. So it kind of gave it a little more to the song. And another life lesson or songwriting lesson that Ryan Tedder taught us was that the second chorus, like the final hurrah of your song, should really just be like like the swan song of your song, if that sounds crazy, but you should have more instruments, or at least like a thicker, fuller sound. Like it should be like your last blast of the song. Like you want your listener to remember that part of the song. So here's what I did to kind of achieve that. I know I didn't add very much, but I added like this kind of light synth sound here, and I continued that throughout almost to the end of the song. And it just kind of like seemed to give it a more pizzazz. I don't know. That's like kind of what it felt like at the time. So also I will point out I did add the one knob pumper on this. I'll kind of show you how that turned out. So you can really hear it's like pulling out on the 1, 2, 3, 4 beats. It gives it like a disco feel. And without that one knob pumper, that would just be a solid synth. It'd be like, excuse my humming, but that's exactly what it would sound like. So with the one knob pumper, it kind of gives it like some depth, some, I don't know, like some disco feeling to it. Alright, so that's generally my song. If I think of anything else that is like really crucial, I will definitely put that in there. And yes, I bought this. Actually, no, it was free. I did not buy this. Grand Rhapsody Piano Stereo 24. So that is exactly what it sounds like, Grand Rhapsody Piano. And it's better than using the pianos that like came inside of Ableton Live, because I just didn't really like the way they sounded. But Grand Rhapsody Piano sounds pretty good. So I use that for just some more layer in the song. Again, always add or take away something new so that your listener is wanting to keep listening. So anyways, again, if I think of anything else that is like really crucial in the making of the song, I'll make another video, let you guys know, probably go more in depth with that. But this is my second song, fully produced, and today actually is when the third section of my class starts. So that means that during this section I will be working with another artist, and so we're going to create a song with another artist, and then I will definitely keep you guys posted and let you know whenever that song will be released and kind of discuss it over with you. And then after that, my class will be finished and I'll be on my own. So thank you guys for watching / listening, and I hope you guys have a good day and get out there and write some songs.